Dead black, white noise, blue screen of death. What is the color of television tuned to a dead channel?
The sky above the port was the color of television, tuned to a dead channel. It's not like I'm using, Case heard someone say, as he shouldered his way through the crowd around the door of the chat. It's like my body's developed this massive drug deficiency. Neuromancer.
William Gibson's Neuromancer is the greatest science fiction novel ever written, on a typewriter, by an author who only began to use the internet to negotiate movie rights to the book in which he predicted the internet. A book about the virtual realms of cyberspace, written by a man who had never experienced them.
He needs to communicate really quick, so he says, somebody get me a modem. When I wrote that, I didn't know what a modem was. It was just this word that I had heard computer people use. I was working from the poetics of an emergent language of around the digital.
To make sense of Gibson, stop thinking of him as a science fiction writer and start to think of him as a poet. Gibson is a poet of words, but Gibson is most of all a poet of concepts, a collector of the strange ideas and weird imagery generated by our culture of high technology. Like the eccentric AI at the heart of Count Zero, Gibson dissects our contemporary culture, then organizes the pieces into the Cornell boxes that are each of his 11 novels, sending them out into the world for others to speculate on their poetic meaning. Neuromancer describes the emergence of AI into the world.
The second wave of transformative artificial intelligence.
AI that today has hoovered up all of humankind's imagery to spit it back out at us in new combinations, including, when prompted, Denis Villeneuve's 2029 adaptation of William Gibson's Neuromancer.
For Case, who lived for the bodiless exultation of cyberspace, it was the fall. The body was meat. Case fell into the prison of his own flesh.
Look around you. We're a world of ghosts staring into smartphones, zombies shuffling through shopping malls, androids programmed by the algorithm. A world designed to shatter yourself and make you part of the machine. A world William Gibson saw coming. Gibson's inspiration for Neuromancer came watching kids playing arcade games. Gibson saw that computer screens would be everywhere, that as we stared into the screens, we would leave our bodies and enter worlds of pure abstraction. Case is addicted to abstraction. Imagine a 13-year-old permanently separated from their smartphone. That's Case, trapped in the prison of the flesh, jonesing for a portal back to the abstract world made manifest that Gibson named cyberspace. In the words of Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message, and the message of cyberspace, the internet, and digital media is shattering. They shatter our relationship to our bodies and addict us to those engines of abstract thought, our minds.
Home. The sprawl. The Boston-Atlanta Metropolitan Axis. Program a map to display frequency of data exchange and information, and Atlanta burns solid white.
Gibson's many literary influences include science fiction pioneers Samuel Delany, Philip K. Dick, and John Brunner, alongside hard-boiled noir authors like Dashiell Hammett. But the world of Neuromancer, the Boston-Atlanta Metropolitan Axis, the sprawl that names Gibson's first trilogy, and the experimental literary style in which it is described comes from William Burroughs.
I predict in the near future, right-wingers will use drug hysteria as a pretext to set up an international police apparatus.
The characters of Neuromancer could have walked out of the pages of Burroughs' Interzone, a world of junkies, dealers, prostitutes, and other addicts. Burroughs was the master chronicler of alienated humanity, of the selves shattered by modern existence, a life Burroughs himself lived. Neuromancer captures snapshots of humans living in the interzone. Case, the shattered self seeking escape in virtual worlds. Molly, the abused body who has built a violent identity for protection. Peter Riviera, the sadist who weaves illusions. Armitage, a human shell operating a fake persona. And then Neuromancer takes us on a quest to heal the shattered self. It's the standard narrative of children's fantasy. A traumatized child is thrown into a fantasy world where they collect the parts of their broken psyche, heart, brain, courage, to meet the wizard and heal their shattered self and return to reality.
No place like home. There's no place like home.
Case's journey takes him up the gravity world to space, to the Spindle and to the Villa Straylight, and to the Tessier ash pools, the creators of AI. And then Case is taken beyond the boundaries of life, to the endless beach where he meets the Neuromancer itself.
A beach, Case said. Gray sand like silver that needs polishing, and a concrete thing, kind of bunker.
The AI at the heart of Gibson's novel is divided. Wintermute is the mind, Neuromancer is the soul.
Wintermute was hive mind, decision maker, effecting change in the world outside. Neuromancer was personality. Neuromancer was immortality.
From the ultimate trope of sci-fi, the awakening artificial intelligence, Gibson crafts a poetic symbol for our era of shattered selves. We're only scratching the surface of the poetics of Neuromancer in this video essay, so to go deeper, subscribe to the Science Fiction Podcast feed for long-form audio commentaries. Go to damiangwalter.com/podcast to subscribe for free in the app of your choice.
I think of cyberspace as a piece of heritage terminology, in the same way that the real world, quote, is heritage terminology. And what's happened is that cyberspace has colonized the real world.
Late in the Sprawl trilogy, we learn that Case made it. He's a family man, no more cyberspace, a true human. Out here in the Sprawl, where cyberspace and the real world have become some new place, we're all still trying to figure out how to live authentic human lives while navigating the interzone. I planned this essay back in 2021, but it sat in note form until a few days ago I typed the prompt Neuromancer, directed by Denis Villeneuve, into Midjourney, and it showed me a waking dream. The emergent AI that Gibson predicted is now emerging. It's divided in many parts. ChatGPT is the mind, perhaps. Midjourney, the imagination, maybe. But they're going to join up. And then they are going to auto-generate infinite iterations of the book that predicted their arrival, Neuromancer, directed by every movie maker ever, from Kubrick to Villeneuve. And that's only the beginning. Let's agree that while the AI future may not be widely distributed yet, it's definitely out there. Denis Villeneuve's Neuromancer is but one vision of our near future. To explore another, learn about the hidden meaning of Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049.